Welcome, my friends. Welcome to my world. I'm your host, Kevin Rutherford. It is Monday, June 20th. We are here live. It is a free-for-all. Nothing special going on today, just a free-for-all to find out what's on your mind and what we can help you with today. We're going to open the phone lines right now, so start dialing. 855-950-3835. Looks like calls are already starting to come in. That's awesome. I'm going to get to your calls here pretty quickly, and today's all about you. We'll do an hour or we'll go till we run out of questions. It's up to you. So start dialing. I do have a couple things I want to talk about, not a lot, so it's all about what you want to talk about today. We can talk about trucks, money, fuel mileage, maintenance, tires, taxes, technology, health and fitness on the road, getting started as an owner-operator, finding freight, working with brokers, getting your authority. You name it, we'll talk about it. All you have to do is pick up the phone and join me. Start dialing right now. I promise you'll get through. You know, I took a complete break from the news this weekend. Try to do that once in a while. I haven't done it in a while now because it seems like so much stuff is going on. I did not turn on the news all weekend long, didn't read any news, spent most of the weekend outside in the garden because finally summer is coming this week to the Pacific Northwest. We have not had summer yet at all. I think we might have had one day maybe where we hit 70 degrees. We've been in the 50s and 60s, lots of rain, lots of clouds. The garden's been struggling, but this week it looks like it all ends and summer starts here. Summer for us, if we get our typical summer, we'll be fine. We usually get somewhere between like 90 and 100 days where we might not see rain at all, period, during that whole time. That starts this week. I think by this weekend, we might even hit 90, which is unusual for us. So we're going to go from cold and wet to hot and sunny. Should be perfect for the garden. So I spent most of the weekend out there getting ready for it. Put in about 100 plants I could finally move out of the grow house and get them out in the garden. So I'm a little tired from all that, but I'll probably spend some time on the garden this week. So I just got away from the news completely. And I didn't even really do a lot this morning. I kind of scrolled through some headlines, didn't read much. But I had a strange thought, which is that I hate to admit this, but there was a time where I actually watched a soap opera just about every day. And it was an unusual time. I was 18, and we had just opened the gym, and I was the one that opened in the morning and worked the first half of the day, and then I had a partner who worked the second half of the day in the gym. And so I would open early for the people who wanted to work out before they went to work, and then, you know, after about 8:30, 9 o'clock, the place would just empty out, and it was just dead. Till noon, and then people would start coming in. So, there's only so much you can do in a gym, and I usually got my workout in early when I opened. So I started watching this stupid soap opera, The Young and the Restless. And the weird thing about soap operas is that, you can watch them every day, but then you could take a month off and you come back and it seems like nothing really changed. You could take a year off and it seems like nothing changed. Honestly, you could probably take 10 years. Some of these soap operas have been running for decades. And when you go back, it's almost like you didn't miss anything. That's kind of the way I feel with the news right now. I spend a lot of time on the news. I just do, reading it, watching it. Digging and researching, whatever it might be. And when I take time away from it, I almost start to worry, like, oh, am I going to miss something important? But you know what? When I looked at the news this morning, it looked just like it did on Friday, and it looked just like it did the Friday before that. And none of the news right now is good. That's one of the problems. But it was just a nice break for me to get away from that. But I got thinking about something, that idea of, you can stay away from a soap opera for a year, everything seems the same. I just kind of had another experience similar to this. Spent quite a bit of time near where I grew up on my last trip. So I got to see my family more than I have in quite a while. And I also reconnected with some high school friends that I honestly haven't seen in 30 plus years. It's really been that long. I didn't stay in touch with anybody from high school at all. I moved shortly after I graduated, and I've moved all over the place, and I just didn't stay in touch with them. But I was back in the area. I had time, reached out, reconnected with a couple of them, and it's kind of like a soap opera. Not that much really changed. It was kind of interesting to we just kind of clicked again, but not a lot changed. And I got thinking about it. That's really, it was the same way with my family. I mean, I don't talk to my family a lot just because I think I spend so much time talking to people on phones for work that when I get off work, I hate talking on the phone. So I don't. I hardly ever answer my phone, but I have a great relationship with my whole family. I'm from a big family. I'm the youngest of 7. And when I go back, it's like nothing changed. We just reconnect right away. Our lives are like that. If we don't make a change, if we don't make the effort to change something in our life, it's probably not going to change. Look around, and the people people maybe in your family, your friends, your coworkers, try to find somebody who has had some major change in their life, and it almost always happened to them. They didn't create the change. So if somebody does have some sort of a major change in life, and it happens, but it's almost never good. The changes that happen to us, I guess it's random, they might be good, but they tend to not be. If we want good changes to happen in our life, we have to go out and initiate those changes. And most people never do. This is a really good time to think about that. What kind of changes do you want to make in your life? Now is a good time to do it. Now, I've been saying for quite a while now, don't make any big decisions. What I meant was, don't make any big financial decisions. But this is actually a really good time to make big life decisions if you want. Pick one thing in your life that you want to improve and focus on it right now. In fact, why not become the expert on that? So it reminds me of the book, one of my favorite books, one of the books I think you absolutely should be reading right now if you haven't read it. If you have read it, I would go back to it again. I've read it a couple times. I've worked through it a couple times. And I'm kind of going back and using it as an outline again for a good way to spend my time right now, because I do not want to stay focused on all the bad news. There's a lot of it. Everything I looked at this morning, stock market's down, fuel prices, they might be coming down a little bit. Some of the oil futures did drop at the end of last week. Gas came down under $5 nationally. Diesel really didn't change much. I think we're still at $5.81, but at least it didn't go up. Or $5.81. At least it didn't go up. The stock market doesn't look good. Interest rates are on their way up. The real estate market is tanking pretty quickly. I think it's pretty clear we're in a recession. We've probably got 18 or 24 months. The White House is still claiming that a recession is not inevitable, that it maybe will avoid it. I kind of doubt it. There are very, very few economists saying that. It looks like we're definitely at the beginning of a recession, and I would expect it will be about the same as most. 18 to 24 months. Might be a little rougher than most because we seem to be on a bubble with everything this time. If we look at our last two, the bubble in 90s, early 2000s was all around tech, the dot-com bust. Then the recession of 08, 09 was really a real estate crash. That's what kind of precipitated that one. But this one, everything seems to be on a bubble. Stocks, tech, real estate, cryptocurrency, which wasn't even around the last time we had a recession, it's getting hammered. No big surprise there. I've been saying ever since crypto came out, stay away from it. As the average investor should not be investing in things like that they don't understand. And I've talked to a lot of people. Nobody really understands crypto. And we have no idea. One of the best ways that we're able to predict things when it comes to investments is strictly by looking at the past. So when you have an entirely new asset class, like cryptocurrencies, there is no past. That makes it very, very difficult to figure out what's going to happen. So back to the book. You're probably going to hear me talk a lot about this book. If there was one book you could focus on during this time, this would be it. And I've read thousands of books on business. That's not an exaggeration, thousands. This would be the one I would focus on right now. There's lots of good business books I could recommend. But for where we are right now, this is hands down the one I would recommend. Now, this is almost like a course. There's so much in this book, and here's the way I recommend reading it. And I will warn you, this isn't an easy read. This isn't something you pick up and sit back and listen, and it's really enjoyable. There are some good business books like that. This isn't one of them. This is, you're going to be, or you should be actively learning. But the way I would approach this book, and kind of the way I use it, read it once all the way through so you get the big picture. In the book, by the way, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. It's been out over 30 years, I think. I know there's a 25th anniversary edition of it. I read it when it first came out, probably 30-some years ago. And it was a game changer for me. Really, really good book. Read it once all the way through to get the big picture. And then go back and take one chapter at a time. And there are 7 chapters that cover the 7 habits. So go back and start with habit number 1, which really kind of ties into what I just talked about, the fact that life doesn't change for us unless we proactively go make the change. And most changes that happen to us are usually not good. It's unfortunate. That just seems to be how life works. If you sit back and wait for things to happen to you, they don't seem to be very positive. You've got to go out and make those positive changes. And that's what habit number 1 is all about. Habit number 1 is be proactive, not reactive. Most people are reactive in life. They're waiting for things to happen to them and then they respond to them. They don't have a plan. They don't have goals. They just kind of float through life, bouncing off the things that happen to them instead of plotting their own course in life. So habit number 1, be proactive. Read the book. Read the book. Maybe we should get a book club together. Maybe we should pick a book every couple of weeks and read it, and then maybe we'll do a live conference on one of our websites. We'll talk about that. I just think this is I've always been a huge believer in reading. No doubt for me, it's been a game changer and a life changer for me my whole life. Maybe we just really need to focus on helping more people get into this habit right now, the habit of reading books. And this is a great one to start with. It's all about habits. 7 of them, really good ones. Check it out. All right, we're going to get some phone calls. Lines are open. I promise if you dial right now, you will get in. 855-950-3835. Let's go to the phones. and find out what's on your mind today. We're going to get started in Missouri. Johnny, welcome to the program.
Hey, Kevin, I got 3 questions I need to ask you.
What's that?
Okay, first one is I'm a company driver, and my company does 4% match, and I'm 51 years old. What should I be investing into 401k?
Yes, you should, because of the match. Now, here's the thing. Have you looked at the plan that your company offers?
It's only a 401k. They only do 401ks.
Okay, so let's explain. So this is a great question, and this is a really good time to go back to the basics on investment and retirement investing. So a 401k technically is not an investment. A 401k, the best way I've been able to, and let's just lump all retirement accounts together. So things like IRAs, Roth IRAs, simple IRAs, SEP, self-employed pension plans, 401k, 403b, I'm sure KIOs, individual 401ks. These are all retirement accounts. And what makes them a retirement account is that there are tax rules about how your money works in a retirement account. And it's the tax rules that allow us to grow our money faster than you could when you're not in a retirement account. So we're going to talk about retirement accounts in general. Then we'll talk about what the investment really is. So retirement accounts in general allow you to put money into them, and then in some ways they're not going to be taxed. That's the common factor in all retirement accounts. Now, there is a little bit of a difference, and I don't want to get too deep into this right now. Some accounts give us a tax break right now, and other accounts give us a tax break more so, well, each year as the money grows, but then we get a really big tax break at the end. So traditional IRAs give us a bigger tax break now, and we'll have to pay the tax at the end. Roth IRAs or Roth accounts, because you could also have a Roth 401k, they give us some tax break each year, but not as much, and then we get a bigger tax break at the end. I tend to prefer the Roth type accounts. You do have to wait longer to get your tax break, but you get a much bigger tax break by waiting for it. So, but that's we can kind of set that aside. I don't want to really talk about which one you should pick right now, but I want people to understand that the retirement accounts, all of these accounts that I just mentioned, like I said, I probably missed one or two, they're all basically the same, and they're not investments. Think of them as a box. The account is a box. And if you put the money, and let's just play this analogy out in the real world. If you had a box and you put all of your money in it and you taped it up and you stuck it in the back of the closet, and you come back at the end of retirement, or when at the beginning of retirement, the end of working and you're about to retire, and you open up that box, how much money is going to be in that box?
About the same that you put in there.
Exactly. Money can't multiply on its own. It's not like bunny rabbits. The amount of money you put in that box will be exactly the same. That's really all, but that box sheltered your money from the government. The government didn't get to take any of that money out of the box. Like in a regular retirement or an investment account, you could be paying taxes on things. In a retirement account, you don't. But that's all the retirement account is it's a box, and when you put your money in there, now you don't lose that money to taxes over the years. That's what allows it to grow faster, because it compounds more because the government isn't taking a chunk of it every year. Does that make sense so far?
Yes.
Okay. But keep that in mind. The account itself is just a box. And if all we did was put some money in the account, we would get that tax sheltering, but nothing really happens to that money. It's not invested in anything yet. It's just sitting in this box we call the retirement account. Now, once it's in that box, we decide what we're going to invest it into. The most likely thing in most retirement accounts are mutual funds. Mutual funds are just a big group of stocks. But we could, technically, there are ways to invest IRA money into real estate. You can invest IRA money into precious metals like gold and silver. There are even ways to create retirement accounts where you invest in things like art and collectibles and classic cars and you name it. If there's some way of making money, we can probably set up a retirement account that would allow us to invest into those things. Now, most people don't. Most people have their 401k or their retirement account through an employer. That's what we're talking about here. That employer offers a plan, and in the plan, it will offer certain mutual funds. Now we want to get specific about which mutual funds we invest into. Is this all making sense so far?
Yes.
Now, if your company did not have a match, I would probably tell you just ignore their plan and go get your own IRA. The only other reason to use an employer plan if they don't have a match is if some people just know they don't have the discipline to do this on their own, and it's easier to check the box and say, take this money out of my check before I ever see it. I get that. And if that's you or anybody listening, then yes, you should do that, because the first step in investing is putting some money aside, and that's the step everybody never does. If you never put the money aside, you never need to worry about these other questions. But the first step is we have to get into that habit of putting money aside. So 2 reasons to use an employer plan. 1, they offer a match, and we're going to come back and talk about that because yours does. 2, I would even use a lousy employer plan if it forced me to save and I wasn't able to do it any other way. Now let's talk about yours. A 4% match. That's 4% free money. If you don't sign up and take advantage of this, you never get that money. So for me, when there's an employee match, an employer match, absolutely you should be signed up. The next question becomes, do they have the types of mutual funds we want to invest in? And the answer is usually no. Unfortunately, these plans use mostly high cost, high commission kind of mutual funds, and those fees and commissions and loads and costs, they eat away at your investment just like taxes would. What we want are very low cost index mutual funds like the S&P 500 index. They're usually not available through these plans. So if you understand all this, you could look at the plan and say, okay, I'm going to put in the money I need to get my full 4% match no matter what. I don't care what their plans are. You always put in enough to get your 4% match. If they have, say, an S&P 500 index fund, then I might do my entire retirement through them and put in even more to get the match. Most of the time, though, I tell people, put in just enough to get your complete match, and then if you still have money to put into retirement, go do it in your own IRA so we can pick better mutual funds to invest into. Does that make sense? I know it's confusing. That's
Yes.
A lot of stuff. But that's the way I look at this. You absolutely take advantage of that 4% match. Then after that, you decide, do they have a good enough option in here that I would put more money in, or should I just go open my own IRA so I can pick my own funds?
Okay. Second question, health. I did a 10-minute a discovery call with Lauren, and she got me on a kidney and a bladder protocol.
Okay.
I went into your store. I seen where you got I don't know if it's the bladder one, but you're out of it. I never did see the other one. I don't know which ones you're out of. You're sold out right now of one of them, but I didn't see the other one. Do you have? I don't know which one is which.
On the ancestral supplements, that's what we're talking about here. And let me go check on our page just so I can tell you what we do have and what we don't.
Because I checked over the weekend. You're out of I think it's I don't know. I don't know if it's the kidney or the bladder, but you're sold out of it right now. So.
All right. I'm looking right now yeah, it looks like we're out of a couple of them. We're out of gallbladder. Long bone marrow trachea. We have some really good ones in here too. Yeah, you're right. The one I would probably recommend for you, we're out of right now.
Now, I did put my email in there, so that way when you did get it back in, then they would let me know and I can get it. So.
Okay, let me take a look at this one. This one may work for you right now. Yeah, we do have one in stock. It's actually called Beef Organs, but it is it's the full kind of organ complex that we recommend because it all comes from grass-fed beef, but it's liver, heart, kidney, pancreas, and spleen, and that one is in stock right now.
Okay, and how much is that one?
$48 for the 180 capsules.
Okay. Also, she did say something about, now I drink a lot of coffee. What is your suggestion about doing that NDK coffee thing?
So when you say a lot of coffee, how much?
Okay, so I have I don't know what size this Love's cup is. I don't know what size it is. I drink about 2 to 4 cups of the Love's coffee, probably about a large. I guess that would be I don't know what that would, what's a large
probably
cup?
Like 14 ounces.
Okay.
If you're doing 3 of those a day, now I am not
at least.
Yeah, I'm not looking at your NutriQ right now, but I do know this. Very few people can handle that much caffeine well in a day. That much caffeine for most people is going to cause issues, adrenal issues and some other things. So I drink, most days I probably drink 28 ounces total. I do 2 14-ounce cups a day. For a while I cut back to 1. For some reason now, I just really, really crave that second cup. And I'm actually doing 2 cups of NDK a day. So the first thing, I would cut back some. And one of the ways that makes it easier to cut back, or honestly, if you get a good organic, a good clean organic decaf coffee, then that's just fine. It's really the caffeine we're trying to avoid too much of, not the coffee itself. Coffee has antioxidants and, some minerals in there if we make it right. But we are a little concerned about over-consuming caffeine. Caffeine kind of puts us into that fight or flight mode. The first hit of caffeine sharpens your brain. You think better, gives you a little more endurance. So we're not totally against caffeine, but it's one of those nutrients where the dose is the poison. Too much caffeine can really kind of sidetrack things. It's hard on all the stress hormones. So you could either just cut back to like less than 30 ounces a day is probably a good number to stay under. And 30 ounces is a lot of coffee. Or if you're going to go over 30 ounces, start drinking decaf at some point during the day. And then at least, and
okay.
If you're getting a good, clean, organic coffee, it's going to be the water decaf method, which is what we're looking for. There's a chemical method they use to decaffeinate coffee. I think they call it the Swiss water method. That's really what you're looking for.
Okay, because what I buy is the Folgers half and half, like half decaf and half coffee.
Well, that helps. That cuts the caffeine down as well. So and that's kind of what we're trying to do. So if you were doing, half caffeinated on all of these cups, then maybe 40 or 45 ounces a day might be okay. Might not be that big of a deal. You'd probably getting about the same amount of caffeine you would in 24 to 30 ounces of caffeinated. Now, should you be doing NDK? Again, I'm not. Are you trying to lose weight at all still, or trying to get blood sugar under control?
Well, I lost about. See, I went from 262 down to 218.
Excellent.
In about 6 months. Now I'm back up to 231.
Okay.
From 218 back to 231. I'm back on the road. I was at home. I came off the road. As soon as I did that, the doctor took me off all the medicines except for my heart medicine that I'm taking now for heart medicine. That's all I'm taking now is the heart medicine. Everything else I'm taking off.
Okay, excellent. Let's talk about that heart medicine, though. What is it?
I was diagnosed with an AFib. And the heart doctor put me on like Eliquest and stuff and some other stuff.
It's a blood thinner. Honestly, at some point, if I were you, I'd do a consult with Dr. Wolfson and get off of that.
Okay. I was going to, but it was like $1,400 what they was quoting me to come and to do a consult with him. So
yeah, I get it. I know it's expensive, and I know things could be a little tough right now, but here's the option. You're either going to spend $1,400 to get a good heart consult and probably get off of this. He'll show you how. Or you could not spend the $1,400, stay on it, and I guarantee it will cost you a lot more than $1,400 over the rest of your life.
Okay.
So I would strongly consider it. See if I think if he may have some, less expensive options for just. Give it a shot, but I would keep that in mind. I really, really love starting my day with NDK coffee. This is the one thing I just don't miss. I don't miss doing it. When I had to do the AIP Paleo, I did it for 90 days. No, coffee is not allowed at all on AIP Paleo. That was really, really tough. I really missed my NDK coffee. So here's the thing. Coffee in the morning, a little bit of caffeine really kind of gets our brain going. That's a good thing. The idea behind NDK coffee is that we want our bodies to run on fat, not sugar. So in the morning, we're basically, NDK coffee is giving our body a straight shot of fat. Butter and coconut oil. And here's the other thing about it. It tastes incredible. I don't think I've ever met a coffee drinker who doesn't love the taste of NDK coffee. That rich, deep, buttery, fatty kind of taste is just really satisfying, gives me tons of energy, absolutely knocks my appetite out for hours. So if I get up, like yesterday or over the weekend, I got up, had, 1 cup early in the morning, had 1 cup later in the morning. Most of the time, I'm not even thinking about food till 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon if I have 2 cups. If I have 1 cup, I'm usually hungry by about noon. If I have 2 cups, it's 3 or 4 in the afternoon before I'm even thinking about eating. So that allows me to do my 18-6 intermittent fast really easy because I'm just never hungry. A lot of days, if I drank 2 and I'm active like I was yesterday in the garden, I almost have to force myself to eat dinner. I don't think I ate the first time till 6 o'clock last night, and then I ended up eating 8 chicken drumsticks. They were really good, too. So give it a shot. I mean, I can't imagine starting my day without it.
Okay, yeah, because it's like because I got on YouTube, I was watching your son, and you make yeah, and I was making it. It's like, well, I like the cinnamon, and I seen the butter. The only thing I don't have is the collagen and the New Balance and that Brain Octane. And Lauren did suggest on there. She did put down in the bottom that do NDK coffee, and she's also got me on a keto diet with 34 grams of carbs a day, one day.
Perfect.
And so that's what I just wanted, because I looked in your store. Right. I'm thinking about doing it so that way I can get up, because I'm thirsty. It's like my problem is I'm hungry. Some days I can eat at 6 o'clock at night, go during the day at about 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock in the morning. I'm hungry, but I feel hungry, but I don't feel hungry, but I got to eat.
No, I know. I know what you mean. That you get those kind of weird cravings and you're not really sure what you want. And two things there. One, all that fat in the NDK coffee. And I do make mine with Brain Octane. And Brain Octane for me is like my secret weapon. I think much better on Brain Octane. I get this good, clean energy. I get real mental clarity. That's why they call it Brain Octane. What Brain Octane is, it's a form of coconut oil. We pull one specific fat out of coconut oil, and that becomes Brain Octane. The reason we pick that one specific fat is because it kind of forces your body to make ketones. And our brains love ketones for fuel. So when our brain is running on ketones, it's running on high octane. So that's really what this is. So try it. Now, Be careful. Okay. There is a thing with Brain Octane that we call disaster pants. For some reason, this does not agree with some people, and it goes right through them. Now, some people can work their way into it, start with a teaspoon, and see how it goes. I actually put 2 tablespoons in each cup that I make. So I'm getting 4 tablespoons a day right now of Brain Octane. Some people can't seem to get past it at all. My wife Lisa is one. She cannot consume Brain Octane at all. Now, she can consume coconut oil just fine, but not Brain Octane. So if you can't do the Brain Octane, then do the coconut oil. But like I said, I consider Brain Octane my secret weapon. Okay.
And my third question is, I'm a company driver. I have a 2021 with a DT12 transmission with a DD15 engine with a 226 rear end.
Okay.
How fast should I be running this truck? Because it's like, I know I talked to you and the other guy on the technology. I was the company driver, remember? And y'all told me to stop slowing down. And what should I do? I mean, I'm making more money now because I'm pumping out more miles, but what is your suggestion? Because at 67, I'm about 1,300 RPMs. Is that about right? Sound about right for this setup?
Here's the thing. When we talk about speed and RPM, we are specifically focused on fuel mileage and secondarily maintenance. When we run the truck in the proper RPM, we get better fuel economy and our maintenance costs go down. I love the fact that employee drivers want to do that. But I would say first, this is the system that we've set up in the trucking industry. We pay people by the mile. I would make sure you're getting your miles in for the day. That speed, 67 at 1,300 on that engine is just fine. You're going to get reasonably good fuel economy, as good as you're going to get at 67, because it's spec'd pretty nice to do that speed. You'd be fine all day long, 65 to 70. If you have more time and you want to relax a little bit and you're not in any hurry, because if you get somewhere, you're going to end up waiting anyway, you could also run this truck, 55 to 60, probably indirect.
Okay. All right. Okay. That sounds good. Okay, that's what I have. I'll go ahead and order that NGA coffee, and then I'll try it. Like I said, I know there's stats on there, like so many, on the thing I was reading it, it said, so many drops of this, so many, that.
Right.
I'll just try that and go from there because I love cappuccino. I love the French vanilla and stuff like that, but I don't drink it because of the sugar.
Yeah, let me tell you something. The NDK coffee tastes like a really, really good latte or a cappuccino, that nice kind of thick, creamy. Put a couple drops of vanilla in there, just straight vanilla. You'll swear you're drinking the best vanilla cappuccino you've ever had.
Okay. All right. Then I'll order it and just try it out. Like I said, I mean, it ain't going to hurt me, I guess. So
no, it's definitely not going to hurt you. Yeah. And we do the kit because it makes it easy. We do put the vitamin D drops in there, the collagen. You could also do the vanilla collagen. I'm pretty sure we have a vanilla collagen that makes that coffee taste really good too. Let's go to Alabama. We've got some lines open. We've got a little bit of time here. Well, if you call, I'll keep answering questions. So pick up the phone and join me. 855-950-3835. Let's go to Alabama. Jonathan, welcome to the program.
Hey, Kevin, good morning.
What's on your mind today?
Nothing much. This is what I got a question about network and LLC. I had my authority for going on 3 years, and I'm one truck, but I have a truck leased on to me. The truck that's leased on to me is my brother. And I own some real estate, and my net worth is getting close to $1 million. I'm like right at $1 million.
Congratulations.
I bought real estate. Thank you. I bought real estate cash. Worst case, say if, me or my brother have a bad accident, I don't want to lose anything. So how can I get more protection, like for the worst case, my brother run over the top of somebody or just something bad happens? How can I protect that? And I am an LLC right now, but I don't know how much protection, will that help me?
Well, this is a really good topic, so thanks for asking, and we haven't talked about this in a while, so it's a good time to go over this. I know you hear all these crazy late-night commercials when you're driving, form a corporation, form an LLC, protect your assets. The first question we have to ask is, do you have enough assets that you need to protect them anyway? Most people don't. Most people do not have anywhere near the amount of assets that would make it worth it for an attorney to come after them personally. Most of the time, insurance is going to pay things out, and that's going to be the end of it. If you went after the average American, what do they have to get? You can't sue somebody if they don't own any assets, they don't have any real net worth. And honestly, today, that million number is kind of the bottom. I mean, attorneys aren't going after cases unless they can get $1 million at least. There are some ways we can set up our assets so they can't be attached, although if it's investment property, that can be. There are a couple ways we can look at this. One, first off, we answered the question, do you have enough that somebody might come after you? And you're getting to that point, so I'm glad you're thinking about this now. You can never truly separate yourself from that liability. So will the LLC protect you? Probably not. And here's why. I'm actually okay with this. We should not be able to just sign a piece of paper and somehow we're no longer liable for our actions. If we go out and do something really stupid and we kill somebody or injure them, we should be liable. We should have to pay. Somebody should. So we either have to pay it or we have to have insurance that pays it. So I don't believe we should be able to separate ourselves from that kind of liability. Corporations, they are really designed, that protection is designed for shareholders. If I buy stock in Apple, I don't want to be responsible for stupid things Apple does. I didn't make that decision. I'm just a shareholder. That's really what corporate protection is all about. But if you are the decision maker in that corporation or that LLC, and you make a really stupid decision and it hurts somebody, you can be held liable. There isn't total protection in there. So we have to look at other ways to protect. Insurance is one. You could possibly look at, do you have your homeowner's insurance, car insurance, all your personal insurances? Do you have those with one agent or one company?
No, it's different companies.
So what you might want to do is find a good agent and consolidate, get those insurance coverages in with one agent. Here's the reason that's just a good idea in general. There are lots of times where there's some overlap on insurance. If you park your car somewhere and somebody breaks into it and steals your laptop, which insurance policy do you have that would cover that?
If someone steals my laptop
out of your car.
I don't have any. Oh, out of my car? Yeah, it's car insurance.
No, that's what everybody would think. Believe it or not, your homeowner's insurance covers that.
Oh.
That's why you should have one agent, because insurance is complicated. We never think about it because hopefully we don't have to use it. But then if you don't understand these things and something happens and you realize, oh, there was a gap in my policy because I got my car insurance through this company, I got my homeowners through this company, and neither one of them had that coverage. Whereas if you have an agent and he's working for you, he understands, and all these laws can be different in different states. That can even make things more confusing. But if you have a good agent, he can, and you need one now that you've got these kind of assets. You really do need a good single insurance agent that can look at all of your policies and say, okay, we had a gap here, let's do this. You're covered here, let's raise this rate because now you have more assets. The other thing he can look at then is you could get what's called an umbrella policy. And an umbrella policy, you can get $1 million, $2 million. They are kind of strange because they might have a deductible like $300,000. And you'd be like, oh, well, that's stupid. But your other insurances kick in first and cover those things. Then the umbrella kicks in case you have some sort of big lawsuit against you. So that's one of the best ways as you start to accumulate assets. But you really need a good insurance agent. Now is a good time to find one, get all your coverages consolidated, and have them figure out how you could protect yourself better with insurance.
No, okay. What about another option could be if I do like I said, I do not have any mortgages on the properties, but if I take cash back, like do a refi, but I don't, just take full cash out of each property. I have own 5 properties.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. Just stop. Don't do that because that changes nothing about your liability. They can still take those properties. You're still stuck with the debt. They could take one of your properties and they get it free and clear in a lawsuit. You still have the debt to worry about. So that would not protect you at all. It would put you in a far worse position. And now you're paying interest on loans and interest rates are going through the roof. You do not want to do that. You have a free and clear asset right now. Congratulations on buying things with cash. Don't change that.
Okay. Well, I'll look into. I'll take your advice and I'll look at that. I'll call around and ask about the umbrella coverage. I sure appreciate it a lot, Kevin.
You're welcome. Thanks for the call. Congratulations, by the way, on good financial planning and a good discipline to get you to this place. Now we have to worry about things like taxes and insurance and lawsuits and all that other crazy stuff. All right, we have phone lines open right now. If you, let me refresh just to make sure. Once in a while I say that, and we have all kinds of calls. No, it looks like we dropped some of our calls. So if you want to jump in right now, we've got some time left. 855-950-3835. It is a free-for-all. Anything goes. You can call me and talk about whatever happens to be on your mind. Come on over and check out the websites. We have our social sites. We moved just about everything off of Facebook. We still have a small presence there, but not much. HealthyTribe.com if you're interested on the health side of things. If you haven't been there yet, come on over and check it out. We have all kinds of great information there. You can ask questions. I spend a lot of time on there answering questions. Also on the health side, if you haven't done our NutriQ and our Discovery Call yet, you really should. They're both free. These are really, really powerful tools that we make available to you at no cost. You can do the NutriQ. That's just an online questionnaire. We're going to ask you a lot of questions about what's going on with your health, your symptoms, those kind of things. And then we'll create a 30-day plan for you in the Discovery Call to work on your single biggest health issue. So check that out. On the trucking side, we have truckingtribe.com. You can ask questions there. We have all kinds of people answering questions over there. We have people from Pittsburgh Power. Mike and Kevin Beckett are both active on there. I answer a lot of questions in there as well. A lot of the owner-operators and people you hear call the show a lot are in there. Great place to get your questions answered. So check that out at truckingtribe.com. And then the NutriQ, the Discovery Call, our store, our blog, all kinds of information you can find at letstruck.com. All right, we're going to head off to Iowa this time. Tony, welcome to the program.
Hi, Kevin. Thanks for taking my call.
What's on your mind today?
I got to give you some retirement stuff. I'm give you a little bit of background. Back in 2011, I was, jobless, homeless, didn't have a went to trucking school on a government grant. It was a 6-month tech school thing.
Okay.
I didn't have any money to pay for it. So, but anyways, I went through there, 6-month course in 2012. Graduated, got out, and started working local. But anyway, so I've been driving since 2012. Now I'm a company driver. Been with this company for 6 years, and through their IRA program, they have a 3% match that I'm doing. I've got, with the market crashing now, it's about worth $20,000 now.
Okay.
And I've got $10,000 more in one of my personal IRAs. So I got $10,000 there and about another $10,000. So
excellent.
That's what I've got. I'm your age, so that's the bad news. As far as how much time I have to, grow some money to be able to retire with. So,
yeah.
Got any recommendations?
Yeah, time is the one thing I can't change. I can give people all kinds of advice. We can talk about strategies and tactics, but time is so critically important in investing. One example that people have a hard time wrapping their head around, I talked about this the other day. I talked about, paying your children, and you start them 7, 8, 9 years old on like $75 a month if all of it goes into an investment account, and they did that the rest of their life, just $75, never more, they could end up potentially with like $6 million by the time they were 60. Now, if you start at our age, the amount of money it would take to create $6 million is insane. I mean, it's just not going to happen. So, our goal, though, whatever, is, I'm glad you're doing it. So congratulations, because most people never get there. So you've started, you've already accumulated money. That's excellent. I would not try to get out of the market right now. I would not try to time the market. You still have plenty of time.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So, we just
I wasn't going to touch it.
Good. Yeah, you still have plenty of time, and you're on track. There's other things that are changing about this. I don't get as concerned anymore. Our traditional model of work and retirement actually sucks when you think about it. We have people who spend 30, 40 years in a job that they absolutely hate. They probably don't save any money, although they should have. And then they retire, and they don't have much money or assets to do much of anything. They're bored out of their mind. They have no real purpose. That retirement plan to me always sucked. I don't like the idea of that at all. Our world today, it's so much easier to keep working instead of fully retiring, but you don't have to have this 9-to-5 job, 40 hours a week. There's so many opportunities in today's world to generate some sort of an income, even in retirement, without working the rest of your life. And I actually think that's a better form of retirement anyway, to stay active with some sort of a purpose. So I still think you're in good shape. Keep doing what you're doing. And the other thing is, it's possible to be healthy enough now that you can live and work longer. What is your specific question?
Oh, well, I was just, I guess, I've been concerned about, trying to save up enough money to, be able to help me out when I, 20 years from now. So,
yeah, so
I just wanted.
The only thing we can do to make up for a lack of time is we just have to contribute more money.
Yeah. Yeah, I can put some more in my personal account. So my personal IRA. So, all right, I guess that's about it.
Okay. Very good. Yeah, you're on the right track. I mean, we all wish we would have started sooner. I look back and think, boy, I wish I could have started in my 20s. I didn't. I did not start putting money aside, period, into savings or any kind of investment or retirement till about my mid-30s. And honestly, that's late. I lost a lot of opportunity. Every year we wait, it gets worse. So even starting really, really small, like $25 a month, is better than not starting at all. You've got some assets set aside. That's the good news. We know you can do it. You have the discipline. You've already been doing it. Again, the only thing that can make up for a lack of time is contribute more. So sometimes you have to dig a little deeper, sacrifice a little more, give up a couple things. Every dollar you can put in can become more dollars. That's the other reason for doing this. So take a look. This is a great time to take a look at your finances and, create some budgets if that works. And I'm talking to everybody now, kind of dig deep to figure out where you can get more money to make those contributions. And if you're out there listening and you haven't started saving money for anything, start. Now is always the time to start saving. There is never a bad time to start saving money. One of the really good reasons to start saving money right now in cash, I have a feeling we're going to see some really, really attractive CD rates, certificates of deposit that have no risk. You buy a certificate of deposit from a bank, you can't ever lose money in a CD, and you know exactly how much you're going to gain. Right now, I would guess CDs are paying maybe 2%. Maybe they're a little higher, but it's probably not much, but that's on its way up. We've been talking about the stagflation and recession back in the early 80s. I went through that just getting out of high school, and I've talked about this. At that time, CDs were paying 10%. That is incredible. I would love to see CDs paying 10% right now, because I'd be able to earn a significant amount of money in interest every year. We're sitting on both the business and personally a decent amount of cash right now, because I do the same thing I tell everybody else to do. 3 and 4 years ago when I started talking about this, actually almost 5 years ago, my advice was, and has been ever since, I've probably said it 1,000 times since then, pay down debt, save cash. That's exactly what we started doing. And I hear from a lot of callers who have done the same thing. It's awesome. You've put yourself in a really good position. All right, let's grab another call. Like I said, I will stay as long as you've got questions. Other than that, if we run out of questions right now, I'm going to wrap it up. But let's go to Ohio and talk to Herschel. Herschel, welcome.
Hey, Kevin, how you today?
Good.
I did it again.
What?
Damn it.
What?
I did it again. Ask you how you're doing.
That's all right. I had a good weekend.
Hey, good deal. Yeah, we did too. It was actually in the 70s, no humidity. Oh, my wife and I about worked our self-sample this weekend.
Good, good.
Speaking of my wife, and you've been talking about different 401 questions and whatnot today. So my wife's been wanting to do a will, and I've been kind of dragging my feet. I'm pretty sure I asked you this, but it may have been 4 or 5 years ago, and I honestly don't remember what you said. We've got a decent pile of money for savings when it comes to retirement. We're getting close to $750,000 cash.
Excellent. Congratulations.
The house is down to, the house is down to about $42,000. It'll be done in 3 or 4 years at the most. Cars are paid for, so we're all right. But we have 3 kids, the 2 boys. If you didn't tell them to go inside when it was doing a real good rain, they'd probably drown. They won't hold a job. They will not hold a job at all. I quite frankly enabling bad behavior and leaving them a pile of money when they won't even keep a job. We got a daughter that's doing good. We got 6 grandkids. I just don't know what in the world to do. I told my wife what I'd like to do is leave a number, pick a number for each grandchild, whatever that number is, and then something for Sherry and her husband, because they're both good people. They work. They're doing it right. But everything else, I'd like to leave, like Make-A-Wish Foundation for kids that are terminally ill, and they get their one last hurrah, baby.
Excellent.
That's what I would like to do. But how do I convince my wife? Do you think I'm on the right track?
Oh, wait a minute.
What do you got for me? Anything?
Well, maybe. I thought I had a lot for you till you threw the real question out, which was, how do you convince your wife? That's the tough one. I could answer all the other stuff, but you had to trip me up there at the end by saying, how do I convince my wife? Let's try, I guess. I have a very, very different opinion about leaving money. We talk about retirement, saving money, make sure we have enough to, so we can either retire or go do things we really love to do. That's the first goal. For me, I honestly think it's a really bad idea for people to get money that they didn't earn. I am not a big fan of inheritance at all. In fact, I told my kids, you're not getting a penny, not one. I may leave you some things that, have some emotional value, but don't think you're getting a pile of money no matter how much I have. The first thing is there are ways to do retirement planning so that your money kind of runs out at the same time you do, which is the goal. I mean, we want to make sure that if we're healthy and we live really long, our money lives with us. There are ways to do that, and it kind of works right to the end. One way, here's just one example. You could do a reverse mortgage on your house. When you say, okay, I'm done, we're ready to retire, you do a reverse mortgage. And basically what you're doing is you're selling your house at that moment. But you get the money from the sale sort of now. You get to live in your house until you die. No matter how long that is, the reverse mortgage takes away that risk. You'll always be able to live in the house. You get the money for the sale technically now, and the company that's doing the reverse mortgage takes the risk on how long you're going to live. But when you're done, you're done. They get the house. You got the money ahead of time, so there's no asset left there. You could take all of the money that you accumulate and you could put it into an annuity. And there are different kinds of annuities, and we have to get really specific and do a lot of planning. But in general, the annuity kind of does the same thing the reverse mortgage does. You give all of your money to an insurance company. That's where you get annuities. They tell you, we'll give you this much every month until you die, and it doesn't matter if you live to be 110. But if you die tomorrow, they get it all. But you've taken away your risk. The downside is when you die and your spouse. I mean, we can work this out so that the spouse is always protected as well. But when you do this kind of financial planning, it protects you no matter how long you're going to live. The downside is there's nothing left to give to anybody else. I've always said to my kids, that's how I'm doing my retirement planning. I'm going to use all of my money. I'm not giving you any. Instead, throughout your life, I'm hoping to give you the right information and teach you how to do this yourself so that you don't need my money that you didn't earn. I'm going to teach you how to earn your money better, how to invest it better, so that at the end, you get to do this as well. I really don't like the idea. Even the best kids, now they're adults and they're successful and they're responsible, I still don't like to give people money they didn't earn. I think it's bad for everybody. Your idea, I think, is better.
Yes, it is.
First off, I would look at some of these things when the time comes, reverse mortgages and some annuities, and you can still structure it in a way that you say, okay, when I'm done, everything that's left goes to Make-A-Wish or, whatever charities this is where you would want a really good fee-based financial planner to help you with all the specifics. But I'm with you. I really don't want to leave a bunch of money to any of my kids. I just think it's bad for them. And you are absolutely right. If you have irresponsible kids who are irresponsible with money, those are the last people you want to leave money to. It will ruin their life.
Exactly. Well, since we're talking about this, I'll throw one more quick one at you. A buddy of mine, and you would have to know him. We call him the legend, okay, because he's a legend in his own mind. He swears that you should never own your home. You should always have a loan of some kind and a lien, because if something happens, you get in some kind of a lawsuit, if there's a lien, whoever's suing you can't take your house if there's a lien. Is there any truth to that?
No. Well, there could be some. I just addressed this. I said you could end up losing the property and still owning the debt. Those are two different legal situations. One is property that you own. Two is a debt that you owe. Even though they're connected because it's a mortgage, that doesn't mean they can't take your property and leave you with the debt. That can still happen. Could there be Could there be certain circumstances where they're not going to try to take it because there's a lien and there's no equity? Yeah, that can happen too. This can get complicated. There's lots of situations. But here's the thing. I'm not going to pay interest all my life to possibly try to avoid somebody taking something from me. Let me ask you this.
That's what I thought.
I've been around the sun 59 times now. I do not know a single person, not one, who has ever lost anything in the lawsuit. Do you know of any?
I do not, and I'll be 56 in August, and I agree. I think that's throwing good money after bad.
Exactly.
That's an old-time saying for you.
You know, I just went through that whole call with this, my first caller today worked so hard, he's got almost $1 million in assets, and I gave him the exact opposite advice. No, don't do stupid stuff like that, thinking you're protecting anything. If you want to protect things, go get a good insurance agent and make sure you have the best insurance in place that you can afford.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess we got to figure this out, of course. But yeah, I just leaving money to somebody irresponsible is just a bad idea, and I have a big problem with that.
It is, and the other thing, there's so many other reasons. I don't want my children ever, and I don't think but we're all human. I don't want my kids ever thinking that it's a good thing that I'm going to die because they're going to get a bunch of money.
Right. Exactly.
And you hit the nail on the head, though. The worst part about this is most of the time when we give this money to people, we're giving them a bunch of money that they've never figured out how to manage the little bit of money they have now. More money will only make their problems worse. We all believe that if we got that money, it will make our problems go away. It almost always makes it worse.
Well, just look at the percentage of people that win the big fat mega ball, whatever you call it, lottery, and they're broke in 6 months.
It is crazy what those people go through. And many of them, I've read a couple of books about this topic. Many of those people are miserable after they win something like that. And everybody says, oh, no, I wouldn't be. But the odds are that, it usually does not turn out well when people who don't have a lot of money are given a lot of money.
Okay. All righty, bud. Well, I'll keep pondering and talk some more with the wife about it and see what we can come up with.
Yeah, there you go. The only other thing I can think of, and I'm not sure that I'd be any better at this than you are, is maybe you have her call with you one day and we all talk about it together. Let's go to Ohio. Jeff, welcome to the program.
Hey, Kevin. Good to hear you.
What's on your mind today?
Well, I was just going to leave a message, but she went ahead and put me on through to you. But, you were talking about starting a show for, like, the first-year truckers.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to throw out a person for you that you might look at. He's a YouTuber. I don't think he's 30 yet, but he started with a flatbed company, and he's still a flatbedder, but he worked like 2 years doing that. And then he's gotten his own trucks. He's got 2 trucks now. And the guy's just so full of energy and I mean, he's a pleasure to watch. And I thought maybe you might want to maybe look him up, and that could be, a possibility. Yeah. But it's Trucking with K, Tay. And he's out of, I think, Memphis, I believe. And I think he lives around there, but he's just a really good guy.
I'll take a look at that. Yeah, we did that show back in 2014 when we had our own network back then. And that first year of trucking, we all remember it. That can be a really tough year. And having, a show where we can address a lot of those things and help people with that, I think would really make a difference. Hey, I'm going to cut you loose because I am getting a ton of feedback on this line for some reason. But I wrote that down, Trucking with K on YouTube. and I will look that up because I'd love to bring back that show. We called it Trucking 101, and it was really focused on getting through that first year. Whether you're a company driver, owner, operator, lease, purchase, whatever it might be, local, over the road, specialized, doesn't matter. If you're in trucking, that first year is tough, and there's a lot of things we could do to help those people get through that first year a lot better. So we are looking for a host to do that show for us, Trucking 101. So if you have anybody in mind, I've got this one on the list and a couple other people I'm looking at. We are looking to do that. All right. We are going to wrap this up. We will see you back here tomorrow for the Power Hour and the Pit. We'll see you then. Be safe, be profitable, be fit and healthy. Always do the hard work and master the journey.